How do I even intro this video? How am I meant to do this? Oh, it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. How's it going, folks? Welcome back to Park to Prem. Today is the last day of the league season. I don't think I was going to be here. I was figuring we'd come back for the playoffs, but on the penultimate game week of the season, I lost 4-0 to Walsall. Chesterfield won 3-0, and from a situation where we were 6 goals ahead of Chesterfield and 3 points ahead of them, we now find ourselves in 8th place going into the final day of the season. There is 1 goal between ourselves and Chesterfield. Woking could still miss out on the playoffs as well. If we win our last game of the season today, we kick off the playoffs today with the second game. If we don't finish in the playoffs, today's going to be awkward. Now, I have got my excuses at the ready for what has happened, but before we do that, we should run the intro before I have an emotional breakdown. Today's massive. I'm stressed. I just want to play the last game of the season. Let's get straight into things. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Park to Prem. Today is episode number 31. Today we are here for the final league game of the season. We're currently outside the playoffs. Having lost our final 3 games in a row, we are now in a spot of bother. A spot where we really need to win today's game, which is against Boreham Wood. Now, it will be a Jack Dozen away day. We have played Boreham Wood twice before. Once this season in the league, we won on that occasion 4-1. We also beat them in the FA Cup a couple of years ago on one of our runs in the second round. You might remember that 2-1 win at home. This is our first game away against them. It's rather high stakes. So let's address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about this end to the season. And it was an end to the season that was going rather to plan, to the point where I kind of just mentally checked out. I kind of figured, well, we'll just come back for the playoffs. That's going to make sense for the episode. And now, well, I'm no longer in the playoffs. Of course, last episode, we had a couple of big games towards the top of the table against Bromley and Barnet. Following on from that, we beat South Shields at 1-0. A draw against Chesterfield wasn't great, but it wasn't the end of the world by any means. It was a point that was going to be crucial. And having beaten Yeovil 2-0 and then Spennymoor Town, we were in a great little spot. In fact, if we just look at the past positions graph, you can see we were flying high. We were up in kind of 5th and 6th place, looking pretty. Then everything went wrong. Now, the first of the 3 games we've lost to end the season was against Woking, the team who were competing with for a playoff spot. This is the kind of game that if we'd managed to win, we'd be in a way better position. Unfortunately, in this game, we were 4-1 down at half-time. Having taken the lead early on, they scored from just a flurry of chances. It felt like one of those games where every single chance they had ended up in the back of the net. At half-time, I got shouty. We went on the attack. Conte picked up his first 2 goals for the club, but they meant absolutely nothing because we ended up losing this game 4-3, but still, we were in the playoffs. We knew we had a few games left of the year. They should have been more straightforward. They weren't. And in this game against Barrow, we lost our head. 2 red cards in this game. Morgan Williams and Roscoe both sent off, both suspended for this final game of the season. Both were also suspended for the next game. Of course, Williams has been a regular part of our defence. For this game, he was slotting in at right back just due to some injuries. Roscoe was playing at left centre back, and neither of them ended on the pitch. Both were suspended, both critical parts of our defence, and whilst I can attribute this 3-1 defeat to the red cards, we were actually 2 goals down in this game before any of the red cards happened. We were slow to get started, and as soon as we went down a man in the 41st minute, we just never looked like winning. But still, we were 3 points ahead of Chesterfield going into the second to last game of the season. 6 goals ahead of them on goal difference as well. Or 7, was it 6? It was a lot of goals ahead of them on goal difference. And then we took on Walsall and we got battered. That official terminology. Now, I should say in this game, obviously, Williams was suspended, Roscoe was suspended. We also had injuries at the back as well, so it was a makeshift defence, but still, we were just absolutely destroyed by this man whose name I'm never going to be able to say in a million years. It's got lots of letters. It has more letters than the alphabet, and, well, maybe that's why my defence got confused. He got in behind us on 3 occasions, and he got a hat-trick in this game. Walsall just ran absolutely rampant. We were not good enough defensively in this game, and it was like watching the same highlight loads of different times in a row. He grabbed a hat-trick like that. They did score another goal as well in the 83rd minute. Not a good day at the office. Gallagher at left back on a 6.3 was not the worst performer. In fact, he was one of the better performers. Benjamin somehow managed to get a 7.5 at centre-back, despite the fact we conceded 4. Jeffries, who slotted in at centre-back, got a 6.1. Osborne got a 6.1. And Osborne, of all the games to not turn up, this wasn't the most optimal one. And like you've already seen, as we were losing 4-0, Chesterfield managed to win 3-0 away from home against Torquay, which saw Torquay relegated, and it also saw Chesterfield go ahead of us by a single goal-on-goal difference. So just to look at the league sorting rules, it is goal difference, then goal scored, then games won. That is all before results between teams. I'm hoping it's not going to come to that. And the reason I'm going to hope it doesn't come to that is because we have scored 87, they've scored 61, they just do this thing called defending a little bit better than us. But if we were to get a single goal more than them in a win, we would go back above Chesterfield on this final day. For the final game of the season, though, we are away from home against Boreham Wood in 14th. As for Chesterfield, they are at home against Maidstone. Maidstone, who were promoted with us last year, have won the league this year. I'm going to hope they're not having too much of a party and they do actually take this game seriously. Elsewhere, Woking are currently in 6th. If they were to lose and we were to win, Woking could still miss out on the playoffs as well. Their final game of the season is against Eastleigh, who are down in 12th. So this is kind of a mad end to the season. It's not really what I expected. Like I already said, the plan today, get in the playoffs on the last day, hopefully in some style, and then, well, we do an away day in the playoffs versus whoever we end up playing against, which at this moment in time, I think it could be any one of kind of 4 or 5 different teams. It could all change very quickly. Before all of that, though, we've got a trip to Meadow Park for a Jack Dozen away day. If I'm not mistaken, this is our 3rd away day to a stadium with Meadow in the name. Can people be more imaginative with their stadiums, please? We get it. You like to build your football pitches in a meadow. So for today's game, it's another trip to London. I feel like we've played a lot of teams in and around London. And here we have the wonderful world of Boreham Wood, which disappointingly is not in a woods. First impressions of their stadium, they've got grass. They've also got a training pitch next to them. I mean, they're starting off strong. There is a day nursery as well. So if you're a football player or manager at the club, you can just leave your kids at the stadium for the day and they'll be looked after. Brilliant. It could be dated satellite footage. Not impressed by the painting of this car park, if indeed that is even a car park. I mean, the painting's a little bit better there. It's the most tense part of the episode. I'm going to click on the Street View, man. Where can we look? Where can we go? The answer is we can't go on a tour like last time. It's not quite Barnet away, but we can get a lovely view here of the outside the stadium. And this is from 2014, the Skrill South, also known as the Vanarama National South. Skrill was the previous sponsors. Man, this is old footage. Is it just me or does the stadium itself just look very 90s as well? It looks quite dated. They've got the Wood Snack Bar, Fresh Food Fast, and the Education Centre, which looks like it's just a conservatory. I mean, who am I to judge? I'm having a weird moment here where I'm sat thinking, have I been to this stadium before? Apparently it's the home of Arsenal's ladies team, at least in 2014. I don't feel like it is anymore, but I feel like I've been to the stadium that was the Arsenal ladies stadium. Either that or if I'm visiting a stadium I've already visited and I've forgotten about it, which probably will happen at some point, but I don't think it's happening today. Also, £2 match day parking. That's pretty good value. I will say I've now clicked once and we're now in May 2022. Apparently the parking is no longer £2 and it's only available for players, officials and guests. The damage of Brexit knows no limits. I suppose since we can't go in the stadium, we'll just scope the perimeter. We can go around it a little bit. I mean, it's a quite cool little stadium on a little hill here. You can't really sneak a view, can you, from any angles? I'd be lying if I was to say to you it's the most scenic of views, although I guess now it is more of a wood, Boreham Wood. Also, blimey, someone's had a very good day, haven't they? A desk chair in a trolley. That is two combo. That's a combo that I did not expect to see. I've heard of like taking a shopping trolley or sliding around in a desk chair, but a desk chair in a trolley, that takes some degree of kind of, I don't know, genius, dare I say. Also, there is apparently an entrance here to the stadium. The next home game is against blank. We may never know who they're going to play next. I saw a YouTube comment recently as well, criticising my lack of reviewing of floodlights. So today we'll look at the floodlights because there's not a lot else. Look at this fantastic ladder up to the floodlights. Good setup, little nest up there. You can imagine watching a game up there. That would be good. And it looks like it's the same on all sides. In fact, this one here looks like it's got a bit more of a platform to sit on top of. Either that or someone is building a mob grinder in Minecraft. That could be what they're doing. Right, Boreham Wood, because the parking's not £2 anymore, but you do have a day nursery and 2 conservatories, I'm going to give you a Jack Dozen away day score of 4.5 out of 10. I think I've been generous there. Just before we get into the match today, has dawned on me, I loaned out a few players maybe weeks or months ago, and I never mentioned it in a video. Ivan Lien has gone out on loan. I've loaned him out because I keep calling him Ivan when his name is Ivar. He's an okay player, someone who might be a useful squad player next season around. The kind of player who I might have actually needed right now at centre-back due to the suspensions, but he's not available. Ellis Vaughan has also gone out on loan. He's finished clubbing. I think he missed training like 5 times before I eventually got him to agree to go on a loan. Let's be honest, he's just not very good. Considering how high my hopes were for him, he's not really lived up to them, has he? And also, Christian Naveen, the Australian, I did manage to find a loan for him. He's gone to play for Scholding, who play in Germany, but aren't actually in a league in Germany. I have no idea if this club is any good or not, but he's got 5 assists and 1 goal and a 7.54 rating. I'm going to hope that will convince the British authorities he is worthy of a work permit. We can talk to them all about his 5 assists for Scholding. That has got to impress them. What I suppose is slightly less impressive for me is the team I have available for this really important game of the season. We've just lost 4-0, and I'm looking at it, and I think Jeffries, who got a 6.1, is going to have to stay in the defence, which isn't ideal. McGuinness wasn't available for the last game. He can come back in at right back. Benjamin played okay last game. Gallagher existed. McDonald's got to have a better game in goal, but you can see here, Roscoe is out suspended. Morgan Williams is out suspended as well. So we are without 2 of our better defensive options for a game where I'd really like to be at our best. Besides that, though, the good news is we have got pretty much free reign when it comes to team selection. What I will say is NLBM hasn't been doing a great deal lately. I say that, he's got 7 goals in his last 10, but you can see, look at him, he's declining as a footballer, and you can kind of tell by these ratings here, he's been a little bit meh as of late. In fact, I even rested him against Walsall because his fitness was really struggling. He's played quite a lot of football this year without many rests. He's back in the team today. Alongside him, I'm going with Charles, who did play against Walsall and got a 5.9. I am questioning whether or not I should be dropping him now. I mean, look, we have got options on the bench if we want them. We've got Farquhar, Merry, Arconte, all players we could bring on for goals. Elsewhere, Iwamene and Reggie Evans, of all players, are on the bench. You know it's bad when Reggie Evans is on the bench. He's already announced he's going to leave the club, but I'm running out of centre-back, so he exists as our backup defensive option. Truth be told, I'm kind of looking at the players that start thinking, you guys need to have good games today. Kite and Gibua in the midfield have been pretty impressive. Kite especially as of late. Elsewhere, Rossi's been on a 6.52 rating in his last 5 games. Willock's on a 6.46. Really wish I'd bought a right winger and a left winger at some point. I say that Arconte can actually play right winger. You know what? I'm making a reactionary change. Arconte, I think this is going to be his first game playing at right mid for us. Apparently he played here once before and got a 6.9, but I'm going to play him there again. I'm dropping Rossi for today. He's not been good enough. Anyway, reactionary team changes aside, this is the team we're going to go with now. Let's get into this game away against Boreham Wood. If we win this game, it might not be enough. We might need to win by a few goals. We've got to keep a close eye on Woking and also Chesterfield. They're the 2 teams that we could leapfrog. All we can really do here is win and hope that's enough. But I've got to have it in the back of my mind that if we win and Chesterfield win, if we can beat their win by 1 goal, say if they win 2-0 and we win 3-0, we'd actually go above them on goals scored. So this is a day where we need to attack. In terms of Boreham Wood's team, it's actually a very good team. I say that because I recognise both their centre mids. They've got Oakley Booth, who I think used to be a really good player in FM. He used to play for Tottenham for sure. Apparently in real life, it's not quite gone to plan, although he was playing in the Championship a few years ago. He's a very good player. The other player they've got is Deli Bashiru, who I think used to play for Watford. In fact, you can see here, he used to play for Man City as well. These are 2 very good centre mids for them. I'm intimidated. I can't believe it. Maidstone have had a man sent off in the first minute. Chesterfield v Maidstone. I need Maidstone to beat Chesterfield. Maidstone are playing down a man for the whole of this game. That is as bad a start without us conceding as it could have been, really. 20 minutes into this match, no highlights. Boreham Wood are on top. We've not done a lot here. I'm going to just get shouty. If in doubt, just get angry. Get mean. Throw a wrench at them or something. That's what my old dodgeball coach used to tell me. McGuinness, Benjamin. Can we make something happen? Jeffries, you were awful last time, but that is a good ball through. Charles, difficult angle, could hold it up. Does hold it up. NLBM, goal number 35 of the season. Take a bow, my French prince. I will drive him to the embassy myself to get him a work permit if I have to. Captain Fantastic comes up with the goods, and to be fair, this ball through was really good, but actually Brandon Charles' hold-up play here was exceptional. In past FMs, he smashes that into the side netting and we're all really annoyed. So let's appreciate he held it up, he passed it, he gets us the goal. I mean, it might not be enough is the worst thing. And before I even have a chance to check what's going on in the other games, we're straight into another highlight. I mean, I know that we might need a few goals here. Of course, a draw, if Chesterfield lose, would be enough, but I don't really want to be relying on Chesterfield dropping points, especially now they're playing against 10 men. We need goals, and oh my word, we nearly had another. NLBM has rattled the woodwork. Boreham Wood are going to hold on, you can see. Chesterfield still 0-0 against Maidstone, and the other game, where are Woking? Woking are winning against Eastleigh. That's not good news, but as things stand, we would be in 7th. Set piece for Boreham Wood. We need to defend well here. An equaliser, and we are not in the playoffs anymore. And that is just such a soft goal to concede. It's Oakley Booth with it. Did I hit the woodwork? Did the keeper save it? I'm not sure. Was it Jeffries nearest to it as well? Jeffries came in to be a squad player this year because of all the misdemeanours he's now starting for us. He was awful last game, and I don't want to make him the scapegoat. He is the man stood there. He just makes me angry. There is, however, a kick-off highlight. You know what, Jeffries? If you play forward another ball that's good, that leads to a goal, I might forgive you. What can you do, my friend? He's going to lump it, well, towards NLBM. That's not a pass, is it? That doesn't. He's cleared that there, and it's awful. We've gifted them possession. And having had the lead in this game, perhaps against a run of play, we now find ourselves on the back foot. They've scored one. Let's not concede a second in quick succession. Ball played forward. Gallagher at left back, going to try and switch the play over. Our Conte on the right-hand side, just as a little reminder, holds it up nicely, comes to Charles, who can't quite get there. Deli Bashiru plays it forward to Paul Glatzel, and McDonald makes a massive save in the one-on-one there. Couple of minutes left of this half. It is 1-1. It is a game where we've not had a lot of the ball. They have created a lot more, but we keep catching them on the break. And well, perhaps an opportunity here. Jeffries. I mean, why is he doing that? Why are you doing that, Jeffries? Why are you the way that you are? He gifts them the ball back, just going long to NLBM. And now, Boreham Wood are on the attack. Ionu bringing the ball forward. He's all on his lonesome. Difficult angle. Trying to hold up. Lays it off to Glatzel, who hits the woodwork. NLBM would have scored it. We got it away from danger. Gibua, could we catch them on the break? Not like that we can't, but there could be more action. I wanted a nice relaxing end. You know, a 3-0 win, comfortable. Chesterfield losing by a few. That would have been nice. Instead, they're through. One-on-one. Glatzel hits it wide. I'm calm. Okay, at the break, it's 1-1. I'll level with you. We scored and then we did nothing. But here's the latest scores on the doors. We are drawing 1-1. Chesterfield are winning 2-0. Chesterfield are winning 2-0. Maidstone just collapsed at the end of the first half. And Woking are still winning 1-0. We have to score 3 goals in the second half to go above Chesterfield. And win. Oh my, we're actually about to bottle this, aren't we? All right, I'm throwing a water bottle. It's absolutely unacceptable. Jeffries looks upset, mate. I don't give a Scooby-Doo if you're upset. You can cry all you want. I've got to change something here and just go attacking, haven't I? Like, at this point, it's better for me to go for it and hope that we can make something magical happen. You know, if Maidstone weren't down a man, I'd maybe be looking at their game thinking, well, maybe they can get back a goal or two of this 2-goal lead and we don't need quite as many goals. But given what's going on elsewhere, I feel like we've just got to go for this. We've got to go long. We've got to get the ball forward quickly to the wingers. Willocks has played badly. Will Merry, on you come. And you know what? McGuinness, go on attack. Gallagher, go on attack. I've just got to throw men forward here, haven't I? I'm about to have a breakdown. Okay, you know what? Halftime just happened. I was about to shout encourage. I didn't shout encourage in time. If they now score a set piece... I might have a tantrum mid-video. McDonald's dropped the ball. McDonald's dropped the ball. We're not in the playoffs today, everyone. That's a really, really awkward goal to concede. We had a foot in the playoffs. We were 3 points clear with 2 games left. We had a 6-goal difference swing to cover us by, and we lost it. On the one hand, I'm very relieved I didn't do the game against Walsall. On the other hand, I kind of wish I had a second game to do today now. And now I just feel sad. I mean, Woking are still only 1-0 up against Eastleigh. If they draw and we win, is that enough? I say that. We're 2-1 down. We need 2 goals of our own, and They've just scored a free kick. I want to go home. Is this really how Season 5 ends? We don't even make the playoffs. Are they about to score another free kick? They've just scored one. Don't do it again, Football Manager. Stop it. I mean, so, you know what? People hate the fact that I've been winning all the time. People have been annoyed that I've been getting promoted. People wanted to see me struggle. You're not just seeing me struggle. You see me have a breakdown here. The keeper's... He's not even moved. He just raises his hands like he's part of a Mexican wave. I mean, at least we're going down with dignity, right? Right? Doesn't feel very dignified right now, if I'm being honest. If they score another, it's going to get embarrassing. We need, I believe, 6 goals between now and the end of the game. Can Brandon Charles get one? He can. It's not over yet. Don't take your seats. Right, our Conte's not been good. I'm bringing in Rossi. I'm going to play him as an advanced playmaker. I'm going to move McGuinness forward. Yabua has actually been okay today. Kite, drop back. Yabua, play on defend. Farquad, on you come. Now, this is... Look, there's not long left in this game. I need more goals. This is the plan. 18 minutes left. There's another highlight. I want to believe we've got lots of men committed to the attack. It has to be done at this point. There's no point in beating around the bush. I need more goals. Glatzel's through. They're going to score again, aren't they? It's 5-2. I mean, look at it this way. If this is going to be the last game of the season, at least it's been an entertaining 7-goal thriller. That's the positive I can take right now. I mean, look how many men we've got forward here. There's 5 players stood around the throw-in. Farquad's on the pitch. You know we're desperate. Merry tries to square it. I've got 3 players in on attack. None of them are in the 6-yard box. I mean, look at this. Look at this press. This is genius. Forcing them to go long here. I mean, why did we all take a step back? Why are we all moonwalking like we're Michael Jackson in the 90s? Stay stuck in. Stay pressing. Why am I clapping into my microphone? Jeffries, you are a donkey. Balls forward. I mean, look, you've done it again. You've got 5 players to aim for. You can't pick one out. Charles, Benjamin. To be fair, I am on very direct now, so I'll allow him to go long here. Farquad squares it. Charles has kicked it straight at the keeper. I mean, the Chesterfield game's 2-1. A win might have been enough if Maidstone get another goal back. Elsewhere, Woking is still winning 1-0. There's 4 minutes left. We're not making the playoffs. If they score another free kick, I don't even know if McDonald made a good save there or not. I feel like he's milking it. And now we have a corner to deal with. Get me out of here. I just want to leave. I feel like this sums up this season. This has been a season where we are just consistently inconsistent. We've not really defended well enough. And I think going into next season, we probably need to switch to a more conservative tactic. Maybe a 4-2-3-1 is going to be needed. Maybe I've signed too many strikers if I want to play one striker. I don't know what the plan is. Brandon Charles, can you make something happen here? I mean, I think he's murdered a fan by kicking the ball at their head there, so I guess that's something. I don't want to paint anyone out as a scapegoat, but Jeffries has got a 5.9 there. This man, he's not played much for us. When he's played, he's been absolutely awful. I'm releasing him on a free. £2.4 thousand, I'll pay it. Get him out of my club. I've had enough. I'm storming out. I want to leave. NLBM's nervous. Jeffries is out the job. This is how I'm going out. Look at that. We finished 3 points outside the playoffs. It wasn't even close in the end. Also, there was a load of goals at the end of that Chesterfield game. I'm kind of glad there wasn't a lot riding on it. It would have been a very stressful few minutes. You might think I'm overreacting. I don't think I am. Jeffries, thank you for your service. Do not come back. You are not wanted. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. I hate this man. I hate him. Who wants him? Sutton and Burton, of course they want him. Apparently I'm unwilling to experiment. Look, yes, we've not made the playoffs. But 8th place in our first season in the National League, when the pre-season prediction was 20th, and the media, I think the board expectation was mid-table. 8th is fine. 1 point off the, 1 place off the playoffs, 3 points off the playoffs. That's okay. Look, A+. I am just huffing copium right now, but I do feel better about myself. I know someone's going to ask, Jack, how was the youth intake? Didn't talk about it earlier. This is why. I don't even want to acknowledge it. Didn't happen. Didn't have a youth intake this year. Wasn't real. I've been invited to vote in the player of the season, right? Quantza's in it, by the way. Love Quantza. Park to Prem legend. Why is NLBM not in the player of the year vote? The man is the top goal scorer in the league with 32 goals, and he's not even in the shortlist of 10 players. It's corrupt, all of it. Board have set the budgets for the coming year. Wage budget of £15,000, transfer budget of £60,000. To put that in perspective, we are currently spending £10,000 on wages. We've actually got £5,000 to spend on player wages next year. If the right players are out there, and maybe after a year of consolidation, they might be willing to join us now, we could have a lot of fun in the next transfer special. Speaking of which, you might have noticed in the intro of today's video, I didn't talk about doing a weekend video. I've got a bit of a busy weekend going on, and I don't think I can get a video ready for Sunday. I tend to work kind of Monday through Friday, and obviously on Friday I record Monday's video ordinarily. If I record Friday's video and it's a transfer special for Sunday, there's actually no time to record the next video for Monday. So, plan on Monday, transfer special, start of season 6. It can't end better. No, it can't start worse than this season finished. I can't even get my words out at this point. I'm livid in case you can't tell. We have got the end of season awardee bits. Apparently, Benjamin, who was the signing of the season, was a D. Please explain how that works. The board are disappointed with the signing. Apparently the wages were too high for his place in the squad. I mean, the man played 20 games at centre-back for us this year and got a 7.07 rating. And when you consider how many goals we conceded this year, the fact he's got a rating that high means he must have been doing something right. Yabua also did okay this year. 5 goals, 5 assists at centre-mid. He got a C+. He's the kind of player who I discussed last episode. I would probably be open to selling if the right offer is there. If we were to get offered more than £500,000, I would just have to take the money and run. I think we could replace him with that kind of money. He's been a good player this year, maybe not a great player. And to be honest, we didn't make that many signings this year when you look at it. We kept a lot more faith in kind of the squad we already had. And maybe that is why we just couldn't ultimately make that little push for the playoffs. I do feel like the players that we added were fine for the most part. But it wasn't their home run, was it, of the kind of last few seasons where I feel like we made some really big, meaningful signings that really propelled us forward. I say all of that. The board are obviously, they've given me an A+. They're really happy with where we finished. And to be honest, I should probably be happier with where I finished. As much as I'm putting on this charade about just being a bit annoyed about missing out on the playoffs, and believe me, I am quite annoyed about it, it's still been a pretty blooming good year, especially when you consider those signings really weren't home runs, any of them. Apparently our moment to remember is a 3-0 win away against Scunthorpe. I'll tell you what, I've done Scunthorpe away before. I've been patted down more at Scunthorpe away than any other football ground that I've been to. I don't know if I look dodgy in the eyes of Scunthorpe folk, but yeah, Scunthorpe, you've got very firm stadium security, or at least you did about 10 years ago. Last season, we saw our reputation go up to 1 whole star. I know. Woo, we're big time now. It's not dropped, so let's look at the positives. We've maintained our reputation. Financially, it's very, very comparable to last year. Slightly less in terms of match day income. I think that's probably just due to slightly less kind of cup games and not as many pre-season friendlies, to be honest. But on the whole, yeah, about where you'd expect. Top shirt sales this year, Carl Farquad. I'll tell you what, anyone who got Farquad on the back of their shirt this year probably shouldn't get it on the back of their shirt next year because, well, he faded into obscurity. I'd be surprised if he's even on the bench next season. In terms of how he's lined up this season, this was, at least in the eyes of the game, our best 11. 35 goals to NLBM. He was the standout performer. Elsewhere, Harry Kite, 13 assists, 9 goals. Brandon Charles also got 17 goals in the end. 13 of those came in the league. He did get 4 in the FA Trophy, which we probably shouldn't count, really, because they were just against rubbish teams. But you know what? Brandon Charles wasn't too bad. Not convinced he's as good as NLBM at the whole goal-scoring thing. And like I said during that last game, I am wondering if a 4-2-3-1 might be the way to go next year, maybe with NLBM as the lone forward. In terms of accolades, I won Manager of the Month in March. That was a highlight. Also, accolade for the last season, which has been awarded this season because Football Manager things. I won the National League South Manager of the Season last season, so well done to me. In terms of the players, NLBM dominates it all. This man, I mean, he is the best player that we've got in our team, isn't he? He's got 97 goals now for the club. He's very close to 100. In 125 games, that's pretty good going. He's got player of the match in roughly, 1 in 6 games that he's played for us. Yeah, this man's rather good. Now, we have got the manager timeline, and I did do a tweet a few days ago complaining about this. Why do I have so many things saying future star, or investing in potential? Like, this feature is a fantastic idea, But at least half of it in this save game is just future star and investing in potential from the first few seasons. I will say it does actually improve in a few smaller patches before we talk more about investing in potential and future stars. I mean, remember the FA Cup run? That was good. Beating York City, beating Birmingham City. That might still be our best result. That was in 2024. I feel like an old man reminiscing through a photo album here of all the glory days, the good old times. I mean, to be fair, after what's happened today, I think maybe it is just best we reminisce about the good old days. The overall best 11 has also been updated for our time here at the club. Tyler Forbes and Chitayo are still up top alongside one another. If you're wondering what's happening with Chitayo, he's returned to go and play over in Ireland. I say returned, he was actually playing in Northern Ireland previously. But yeah, for UCD, 1 goal in 7, a 6.54 rating, not great. And of course, Tyler Forbes is just still at the club, albeit as a bit of a depth squad player. Didn't actually play a game for us this season, but he's on a long-term contract, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Apparently it was a memorable season for Guernsey as they defied all expectations and wrote a new chapter in the club's history. I wish I was as positive as everyone else seems to be about us right now. Interesting to note, the expectations for this coming season are to avoid relegation. My contract also expires at the end of next year. Probably should ask for a new deal. I'm going to accept the club vision and I'm actually going to go and do this now. I need a new contract, Mr. Board. Mr. Chairman, new contract plus. End of season meeting. We're good enough to avoid a relegation battle. Everyone cheered. Everyone loves me. I'm a great leader. And after an episode that's had lots of lows, let's look at a high. Let's look at a positive. I've been offered a new contract on £240 a week. Wowza Rooney. Can we make it a 3-year deal and you pay me slightly less? I love this, Chairman. Speaking of which, just a little bit of a reminder that this season was our first season under the new ownership of Neil Swales. If you're wondering how the finance is looking under him, they've never been worse. We're currently £200,000 in the red, but he's given me a larger wage budget. So I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to spend the money we're given. Okay, new contract signed. I think that's a pretty good point to end things today. It's not been the end of the season that perhaps it could have been. We're not in the playoffs this year, but 8th place is still a pretty good position. Just a shame we lost that last 4 games of the season, because that really does make it look like a bottling. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you have, make sure to drop a like on things. Like I said, we will be back on Monday for a transfer special. Tell your family and friends they can use this weekend to catch up on Park to Prem. Season 6 starts next time. We've got money to spend. I'm thinking a tactical change is going to be needed. Let me know what system you'd be playing with the players that we've got. What could I adapt to on the fly? Very curious to know your thoughts because, well, I think there's a lot of thinking that has to be done and a lot of changes that have to be done. The National League is brutal. If we want to make it out of this league, I do feel like a change in philosophy might be needed. Have a lovely rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend. I will see you guys on Monday for the start of the new season. And until next time, take it easy. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you on the next one. I'm out.